Welcome back, everybody. So if you're new here, hello. This is a video going over the changes that have been made to the Arbok line. I don't know, it's mostly just Arbok. Ekans is good for melee island, and then that's about it. But why is this so quiet? Jesus. Is it just me? All right, it should be fine. So, they have some really interesting, amazing stuff. So first and foremost, Poison Dark typing. I don't think that's controversial whatsoever. That's one of the few Pokemon I think that should have actually just been retyped in Gen 1 when they made a bunch of when they made Magneton Steel. I think they should have also made Arbok Dark in my opinion. But yeah, it's very fitting. I don't think I need to explain the logic behind it. And it's a great typing. So Poison Dark obviously only has one weakness in ground, although it actually does have, I think. So here I'll show you the comparison. So Pure Poison is great. Pure Poison has 5 resistances. I love Pure Poison is very underrated defensively. Ground and Psychic only 2 weaknesses, so that's great. Meanwhile, something like Stun Tank, just as the first one that came to mind, has 1 less resistance, but it has a new immunity and only 1 weakness. So Pure Poison is actually very comparable to Poison Dark, despite what people assume. Although I will say the Psychic immunity is great, and I would probably rather have a Psychic immunity than 5 resistances. But the point is, it's not like Pure Poison is bad. However, another main advantage besides the Psychic immunity is that you are you have dual stab, which is great. So you might be thinking, a lot of people look at Arbok and they're like, oh my god, Strong Jaw, it's a snake, it has the fangs, give it the Strong Jaw, dual stab. There is another Poison Dark type that will have Strong Jaw as an ability. So don't worry, it's not Arbok because Arbok doesn't really make sense for Strong Jaw in my opinion. Like it's a constrictor. It's not even like a biting snake, you know? He's a constrictor. He's really strong. So his main things are his giant collar of to intimidate foes, and then his massive size and power. So like here you can see it has terrifically strong constricting power. It can flatten steel oil drums. It's all about constricting. That's how powerful it is. Despite looking like a cobra, it is a constrictor, and it's a very powerful one at that. And of course it's huge. So that's why it has Sheer Force, which is also debatably a much better ability than Strongjaw. Although Strongjaw gives a higher boost and doesn't remove the additional effects, Sheer Force boosts a lot more moves. So, and of course, it also works with Life Orb and negates Life Orb recoil, so it's very good. This is really quiet, dude. This should be a little bit better, I hope. All right. So, yeah, that's amazing stuff. Arbok as a whole, so Poison Dark typing and the new abilities are excellent with Intimidate and Sheer Force. Intimidate makes Arbok extremely bulky. As for stat boost, it is much bulkier, significantly bulkier, slightly stronger, although having 100 base attack with Sheer Force is amazing in its own right. I can actually show the math here if you look at it. So 100 base attack with like a plus, let's say you're like an Adamant Nature or something. Actually, I'll do Neutral Nature. 299 and then 1.3 from Sheer Force is actually a 388 attack stat, roughly. And that's with Sheer Force boosted moves. And another great thing you can do is, for those of you who don't know, Sheer Force plus Stab is actually basically almost as strong as Adaptability because of the way the math works. So Adaptability is a flat 2x boost, meanwhile Sheer Force is a 1.3, and then on top of Stab it becomes 1.95. So that is 5% weaker than Adaptability. So you essentially have Adaptability on your Sheer Force boosted Stab moves, and with the Sheer Force boost, on top of the Life Orb boost, you actually get a bigger boost because 1.3 times 1.3 is actually 1.69. So you get a really nice boost for completely free. So you have a 505 with the Life Orb. It's really powerful. It's really nice. You do have a average speed stat, or it's average for a fast Pokemon. Like it's fast, but not really. Mostly because I just don't really see more speed on it. Like it's a giant fucking constrictor cobra guy. He's 12 foot long, so or 11 foot long, 11 and a half feet long. So I just don't really see higher speed. However, this is loud now. Come on. I'm sorry. I definitely don't see more speed, but I do see a lot more bulk, significantly more HP based on his size, because HP is based more on size now, so he has a very good 90 base HP, and then he has great 85 bulk with the Poison Dark typing and Intimidate. So with the Intimidate boost, it becomes extremely bulky, and you have access to reliable recovery moves with Molt. So Molt is essentially recover, so it heals you by 50% of your HP, so that's really nice to have as well, especially because healing items are naturally disabled in Sweltering Sun, so that's really nice to have for healing. You have Glare, which is excellent. Actually, I should probably swap those two, because Glare is great. So Glare I will do that right now in the files as well. Glare is paralysis and -1 to both of the opponent's offenses, so it's the same as Nuzzle. So Nuzzle and Glare are both the same effect in that they are paralysis inducing, and they also lower both of their stats by 1, both of their attacking stats by 1. So that's just really nice for utility. It makes them a lot slower and a lot weaker. And that could be really nice with your bulky Intimidate sets or your Shift Force sets technically, but obviously it's a little better on the other stuff. Hold on, let me just put here and then. Yeah, there we go. So that's great. You also evolve very early at level 22 still, so you will get access to Arbok before Totem or Rockwinded, which is really nice to have. It's really bulky again, and it's very strong with Sheer Force, so you're kind of trading. So in this hack, you have access to infinite usability capsules, so you can really just switch your abilities as needed. So if you need that power boost, you run Sheer Force. If you need that bulk, you run Intimidate. Quickly, I'll cover Ekans before I get into more nitty-gritty stuff of like their move pool, because they have a lot of amazing stuff in their move pool that I want to cover. But quickly, I'll just say that Ekans has 2 fitting abilities in Gluttony and Unnerve. Unnerve being the baby version of Intimidate, and like logically, it's a snake. So it had Intimidate, I know it did, but I just don't really see this guy having Intimidate personally. I know he can like rattle, but I just don't really see it, and also it's mostly for balancing. So Unnerve is a lot more reasonable and also good because it prevents berries and early. I mean, all trainers like have citrus berries, but like all the non-boss battle trainers, so like regular youngster Jimmy will have like citrus berries on his team past a certain point. I believe after the first one, maybe I forget exactly when they will do that, but they'll have citrus berries, so it's nice to have that to shut those off. And then also for boss fights, some of them will have like super effective berries or like pinch berries, for example, like they might have like a Slack berry or a lychee berry, so you can shut those down. It's really handy. And then Gluttony is really nice just with your own berries, to eat your own berries, so that's all nice, good stuff to have. It's just useful early game stuff. And then, of course, it's pretty quick and pretty strong and pretty bulky. It's just a solid early game mon. And it totally justifies because it's totally justified to use it because it evolves into Arbok pretty early, and Arbok is great. So that's good. That's that. It also has good mixed attacking stats, so that's another thing. Arbok is technically a mixed attacker. It has 185 offenses, so 85 special attack might not seem that great, but if you guys know what Sheer Force Nidoking used to do, Nidoking has, I believe, the same exact special attacks that, or used to. Obviously, Nidoking is no longer a special attacker, but Nidoking's old special attack stat is the same as Arbok's new special attack stat, and they both have Sheer Force, so you can put them in perspective and see how powerful Arbok is with stuff like Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave and Dark Pulse and a bunch of great coverage moves, as you can see here, that I have added, especially and physically. So I'll get into those in a second, but that's awesome. So both mixed and physical and special sets are viable on Arbok. You are very bulky. You can run assault vest sets to a great extent with special or physical sets with Leech Life. Leech Life is 60 base power, but it heals 100% of the damage you deal, while Giga Drain is just unchanged. So that's really nice stuff. You have, again, reliable recovery with Molt. You also have healing with Stockpile, Swallow, and Spew Out. So Stockpile will give you +1 to both your defenses. And then if you use Swallow after only one Stockpile, you heal 100% of your HP now, so that's buffed. So you can actually click Stockpile just one time and then heal up to full HP later in the fight, which is a really handy thing to be able to do. So you can really take advantage of that with your Intimidate as well to really get off those stockpiles and become bulkier. Spew Out is also great. So Spew Out is either a Sheer Force boosted and it will become 100, it'll get Sheer Force boosted, or if you're running Intimidate, Spew Out is 100 base power after one stockpile, and then it increases by 100 base power for each stockpile consecutive use. And then when you Spew Out, obviously you lose the stockpile boost. However, even just one stockpile becomes 100 base power special stab move that lowers special defense by 4. So by 2/3 essentially, which is really, really handy and really, really powerful. So that's really cool. You also have Acid Spray earlier on, just 50 base power, -4 special defense, which is really, really nice for Arbok. On special sets with Intimidate, obviously with Sheer Force it's kind of useless. You'd rather just run Sludge Fling or Sludge Bomb. At that point you will have Sludge Bomb, so you'd rather run Sludge Bomb. Poison Tail is great with Sheer Force, as is Poison Jab. Poison Fang is worse than Poison Jab for Sheer Force because the advantage of Poison Fang is it has a much higher chance to poison, and it's a toxic poison, but it's 5 base power weaker than Poison Fang. Poison Jab rather, but obviously with Sheer Force that's useless, so you're just going to be running the stronger moves. So where do I start? You have dual stab priority with Poison Dart and Sludge Shot. Dual stab meaning, sorry, you have physical priority with Sucker Punch and Poison Dart, and you have special priority with Sludge Shot. That's what I meant to say. Honestly, they don't have fist or anything to punch with, but Sucker Punch in Japanese, if for those of you who don't know, is surprise attack. So a lot of Pokemon that got Sucker Punch before keep it. So stuff like Ariados and Arbok, that doesn't really make sense, still keeps it because it's more of like a surprise ambush attack in those cases. Drink my water real quick. Excuse me. So you have amazing setup moves with both Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, and then late game you get Dragon Dance, and Dragon Dance plus Life Orb and Sheer Force is incredible, or Dragon Dance plus Intimidate is great. So the thing is with Arbok is that you can really take advantage of both your abilities to set up, because Sheer Force is obviously insanely powerful, but then Intimidate gives you a lot of great bulk. So I'm not under exaggerating when I say like you're going to be switching between your abilities often. You're going to be doing it pretty often if you're taking full advantage of your Pokemon. And of course, it's easy to do that because you have infinite ability capsules. So you have tons of great coverage that I'll cover now. So you have Dual Stab with Poison and Dark, which is all right. Then you have Jagged Fangs and Rock Slide and Stone Edge. And then you have, in Rock Tomb, you have Seed Bomb, Giga Drain, and Energy Ball, and Power Whip, all of which are Sheer Force boosted besides Giga Drain. Power Whip is now Sheer Force boosted, 120 base power, 90% accurate. Stone Edge is not Sheer Force boosted, but Rock Slide is. Stone Edge is 80 base power, but it always crits, and it's 90% accurate, so that's really, really good. Takedown is Sheer Force boosted, and it's fighting type. Earthquake is not Sheer Force boosted, but Bulldoze is. So if you were running a Life Orb set and you didn't want to take the recoil, you could use Bulldoze, despite Sheer Force Bulldoze being slightly weaker than Earthquake. It's still nice to have it. Nonetheless, for the recoil option. Also because Bulldoze TM is much earlier than Earthquake, obviously. Earthquake being this after you beat Nanu, you will be getting Earthquake and the Aether Foundation. So like where Toxic TM used to be, that's where Earthquake is. Sludge Wave is really, really powerful on Sheer Force special sets, being 110 base power, 90% accurate. It has the chance, it has 100% chance to lower speed, but that's useless with Sheer Force. Obviously, it just becomes a really powerful move. Gunk Shot is the same, 110 base power and 90% accuracy, and it's via Tutor, and that's amazing with Sheer Force. Aside from Poison Jab, Sludge Bomb is 95 base power rather, 100% accurate. That's really powerful. You have great fire coverage with Flamethrower and Fire Fang and Fire Blast and Burning Malice. Burning Malice is not Sheer Force boosted, but it does remove gems and berries, which is useful for a lot of of the totem battles and stuff. While Fire Fang and Flamethrower are your Sheer Force boosted moves, as is Fire Blast. Again, I said Takedown. Iron Tail and Aqua Tail are both Sheer Force boosted. Lunge is Sheer Force boosted. 85 base power becomes well, it always lowers defense, so that's great with Intimidate sets too. But yeah. Also, what did I do with Whiplash? Huh. I guess I gave them lunge. So I guess I could have removed it. It doesn't have room for it anyways, because past this level it's kind of useless, so that's fine. Belch is really awesome on Intimidate sets. Belch is 120 base power, but it always boosts your special attack stat by 1. So what you can do is you can run a bulky Intimidate set with like a, let's say you run like Intimidate plus setup move like Agility or something, plus a berry, like either a healing berry or like a Pataya berry for special attack, or a Select berry for speed. I would probably run Select berry for speed because you only have 80 base speed, which is the main downside of the Sheer Force sets. However, you are still fast enough to run like a Sheer Force Scarf set or a Sheer Force Dragon Dance set. Dragon Dance is amazing, but Dragon Dance is one of the last TMs you get. Actually, no, sorry, the last TM you get access to in the game. It is in Totem Komodo's lair, so that's really, really great. Obviously, Dragon Dance is amazing. Dark Pulse is Sheer Force boosted, as is Crunch. Crunch and Dark Pulse have both Sheer Force boosted, and they're the same base power, 85 base power each. So those are great for physical and special movesets. Belch, like I was saying, so Belch always boosts your special attack stat by 1 now. So what you can do is you can run the Pataya berry or that Select berry or that Citrus berry or whatever it is, and then get that speed boost or that healing, and then you can get that +1 special attack boost on Intimidate sets. Obviously, Sheer Force, it won't work with Belch, and I would just use Sludge Bomb. Sheer Force Belch is kind of useless. You also have Coil and Power Trip, which is incredible. Because despite all of these great traits Arbok has, in the late game, like it's not that bulky and it's not that fast. It is very strong, but it's just nice to have those boosting options. So I give it a lot of really, really powerful stuff late game. So in the early late game, you get Coil and Power Trip, and Ulula roughly. Coil gives you obviously that +1 defense, accuracy, and attack, which works really nicely with Gunk Shot and Wicked Blow and Power Whip and Stone Edge and all these other moves. It's really, really great. Iron Tail as well. So Iron Tail, Gunk Shot, Aqua Tail, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Power Whip, all these moves that are slightly inaccurate. They're all of those moves I listed are 90% or 95% accurate. It's really nice to have that. You also have a lot of great utility, like I'll cover in a little bit, but first I want to finish covering the Coil Power Trip stuff. So Coil gives you 3 stat boosts, and then Power Trip increases in 20 base power for each stat boost you have, and Power Trip now gives you a +1 attack boost each time you click it. So the only nerf being it has only 3 PP, because otherwise you could just fucking sweep every single fight with Power Trip if it wasn't limited in PP. So at most you can only get 3 KOs with it, but 3 KOs is plenty. 3 KOs is half a team, and you of course are boosting your attack to massive levels with Power Trip. So if you use 1 coil, your Power Trip becomes 80 base power, and then you get another +1 attack and whatnot and so on and so on. However, Power Trip does not work on Sheer Force sets, or it does work, but you don't get the attack boost. So it does boost the power of Power Trip though, so you could theoretically still do a Sheer Force Power Trip set, but it's better to do it on an Intimidate. You also have Intimidate plus Parting Shot, and also Toxic Spikes is great. You have Weather Ball, which is also Sheer Force boosted, on top of, like, you know, the special moves like Flamethrower and Energy Ball and all this other stuff. But Weather Ball is nice under certain situations, like under rain or whatever. So that's awesome. You have Psychic Fangs, like Psychic Fangs and Ice Fang for physical Sheer Force sets, and Thunder Fang. All 3 of those are great for physical Sheer Force sets. And for Intimidate, obviously, but I'm just talking about it in Sheer Force context, but obviously it's still good with Intimidate. Taunt and Parting Shot are great with Intimidate. Glare is, I mean, obviously, like the utility moves such as Scary Face, which is -1 attack, -2 speed, Leer, which is -2 defense, and Glare, which I said earlier was paralysis in addition to -1 attack and special attack. Those are all really great to have access to. Like really, really great. And of course, with Intimidate, you're very bulky, you have a good typing, you can really get those moves off easily. Poison Tail is great with Sheer Force as well. Before you get access to Gunk Shot via Tutor, Poison Tail is very powerful. It's 95 base power, 95% accuracy, and that is also Sheer Force boosted. Toxic and Venom Drench is just very toxic, and Venom Drench is just very useful. Z Venom Drench actually will give you +3 special attack. So once you get to Pony Island and you get the Poison EMZ from Plumeria, if you kept Venom Drench the whole time, you can run a +3 special attack set. It's kind of niche, but it's just nice as an option. Again, Coil Power Trip is amazing, and then you also have access to Power Trip plus Dragon Dance, or Power Trip plus Swords Dance. And then at level 60, you get Z Nightmare. So Z Nightmare gives you a +1 boost to all of your stats. So you become obviously with Z Nightmare you can't run Life Orb, so you either are running a Sheer Force non-Life Orb set, or you're just running that Intimidate to get that power, to get that Z Nightmare off easier. I would probably prefer Intimidate on a Z Nightmare set, but obviously there'll be a lot of cases where you'll need that attack boost. But the good thing is with the Z Nightmare set, you can run Intimidate plus Power Trip, and you can get that attack boost. So Power Trip becomes 120 base power after a Z Nightmare boost. You become very fast at +1 speed, very strong at +1 attack and special attack, and very bulky at +1 defenses, in addition to Intimidate. So Z Nightmare is extremely good. In fact, I am considering making it level 65. I think I will. I initially had them at the same level just because. Oh, and the other thing is, of course, with Mesmerize. So Mesmerize is a 100% accurate sleep-inducing move, and I think it just fits because of his, you know, the pattern on his belly, you know, like snakes, like Hypnot, you know, the snake charming, like cough and the Jungle Book type vibes. Let me quickly just put in this level 65 instead of 60. Just for balancing. 65 is better. All right. So Z Nightmare is incredible, and of course that still has Nightmare's original effect of inflicting Nightmare and dealing 25% HP while they're asleep. And what you can do while they're asleep is, of course, so you can click Mesmerize, and if you so essentially if you're outspeeding whatever's in front of you, you get 1 turn of sleep. So say you're fighting a Raticate. All right, you're fighting an alone Raticate, and you are 3 points faster than it, and you click Mesmerize, and it's asleep now. You can then get off a Z Nightmare for free. So sleep is guaranteed to last for 2 turns. However, that first turn is counted if you outspeed. So it's technically only 1 turn if you're faster. But that's plenty. That's all you need to get up that Z Nightmare. And then they'll take 25% of their HP at the end of that turn for free, which is really nice to like break a focus dash on a lead, for example. And then you can just start sweeping with Power Trip, and you will be able to get 3 KOs with that Power Trip, and you'll be +4 attack, +1 speed, +1 defense, +1 special defense, and you are going to town with your other moves. You can run Leech Life for recovery, you can run other moves just for, you know, being consistent. You can run, you know, accurate Poison Jab if you don't want to risk the miss, whatever you need to run. It's always great, and you can always customize your movesets for whatever fight you're coming up against. Wicked Blow is not Sheer Force boosted, but it's very powerful on Intimidate sets. Payback is the same. Payback is actually technically stronger than Wicked Blow because it's 100% accurate. However, you always move last. with payback now, so it's negative priority, 60 base power, doubles to 120 no matter what. So that's awesome, but again, the downside is he moves last versus Wicked Blow. You can run that with like a speedy or set with like agility or scarf or something. And yeah, you have so much other great stuff. Again, with the cycling, with Intimidate and Powered Parting Shot is really great. Mesmerize is an excellent utility. You can also use Mesmerize if you're slower. Say you run a Sash Mesmerize set on a Pokemon that's faster than you, and then they take you to your Sash, and then you get that Mesmerize off, and then you click Dragon Dance 2 times. Now you have +2 attack, +2 speed, and you can either use that with Sheer Force or Intimidate, and you can probably just sweep, honestly, depending on what the other opponent's team's moves, what the other team's moves are, and abilities and all that stuff, if they have anything to counter you or not. Yeah, really not too much else to cover. I covered about everything pretty quickly. I'm proud of myself for that. You have a couple early game good stuff, like Torment is really nice with Protect. Because you can essentially make it so they can never use that move again if you just Torment Protect spam. And that is nice. You have Disable, which is also really useful early game. Also, it's useful in general, but especially early game. Sludgefang and Wrap. Wrap is 60 base power, 100% accurate, and it does 12% each turn for 6 turns, guaranteed. Pursuit is 70 base power, doubles to 140 if they switch out. Sludgefang is nice because it's 60 base power, but it drops it drops speed by 1, which is nice to make you outspeed them the next turn or for your teammates to then come in. Jagged Fangs is nice physical rock coverage instead of rock slide. It's 10 base power weaker, but it's 5% more accurate, so it's 100% accurate versus 95%, and it's also earlier than the rock slide TM. I think I got everything. Yeah, that was a quick one. I did good. Also, Health Thrust is Sheer Force boosted as well. So that is 100 base power, 90% accurate, I believe. Let me triple check. I'm pretty sure it's 195, which is 15 base power stronger than Crunch, but it's 5% less accurate. But that's really good with Sheer Force as well. Yeah, I was correct. Okay. Same as Night Days. Actually, Night Days, English. Night Days might be 105, but either way. Yeah, I think that's about it. This was a really quick one, but it doesn't mean that it was not dense. I think I just did a good job of talking about everything quickly at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Thank you for listening, everyone. Hope this was entertaining. If you are new here and you enjoyed this and this type of hack style interests you, please subscribe. If you listen this far, you should be subbed already, to be honest. What are you doing? Click that fucking sub button. It helps the algorithm if you comment and like and stuff, and go like my other videos. It just helps with the algorithm. If you like my work and you want more people to see it, or you want me to get recognized, more recognized rather, you can always help boost my content. That does help. So I appreciate it, and thank you for listening. And I am excited. I like Arbok a lot, by the way. Arbok is pretty fucking cool. Excuse me. So I'm really happy with these changes. Very, very cool, fun, solid mon, and it's very balanced and it's very good, reliable, and strong from the beginning of the hack until the very end. You can use it. I mean, that's for every Pokemon, obviously, but I just wanted to hit that home here. So, yeah, thank you.